So if you've spent the last 5 years watching YouTube channels tell you Tampa is about to crash, and then you open the news and see headlines saying Tampa Bay is one of the top 10 markets expecting to dip in 2026, and you're still here, still researching, still wondering whether you've been right to wait or you've been quietly losing your window, this video is for you. Now, I just pulled the actual sales number through March of 2026, and the Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete area, and the greater Tampa Bay area single family home prices, if you had to guess what is the year-over-year number. Well, I'm gonna share it with you. It's 0%, flat. It's not down 5%, it's not down 10%, it's not down 15%, it is flat. Now, condo sales are actually up almost 2%. That's a whole different conversation. I've actually covered that in other videos. The time to contract, meaning how quickly homes are going under contract, that's actually up about 16% over this time last year. Now, this video is not going to be about a whole bunch of nerdy stats, even though I'm going to share some of that with you. This is really about the underlying story. And here's what it's really saying. The crash story that we've all been sold over the last 3 to 5 years just isn't showing up in the numbers. But there is something else happening that most people aren't talking about. The leverage part of the story is very real, but it's just hiding. But for most people, it's hiding in plain sight. That is, unless you know where to actually look. So today I'm going to share 5 specific places where, as a home buyer, you'll have the advantage. And if you've been waiting for your gut to feel like that moment has arrived, what I'm about to show you is going to give you a lot of info that might confirm that suspicion. Now, if you're new here, my name is Juan Alcala, and a little over 7 years ago, my wife Kate and I packed up our family of 5, sold almost everything we owned, moved 1,200 miles south here to the greater Tampa Bay area, and we have been loving it ever since. And we've now helped over 200 families make that relocation a reality as well. So I've seen a lot of what works and a lot of what people get wrong over that time period. And here's what I want to share before we get into these 5 specific areas where buyers are winning. When we get stuck in analysis paralysis, and yes, it happens to me too, and I see this with about 1/3 of my relocation clients, they don't usually struggle because the market is bad. They struggle because the information they've been consuming is built on big picture numbers, national numbers, state numbers, even county numbers. Heck, a lot of the times they're associating our market with the market you live in. But here's the thing, you don't buy a county, you buy one house in a neighborhood, in a community, from a specific homeowner who has a specific situation. And the reason this is so important to understand is the Tampa Bay market data I just shared, flat prices, faster sales, that's the average. And inside that average, there are pockets where sellers have the upper hand and homes sell in 2 weeks at full price or even above asking price. And then there's the pockets where sellers have been chasing the market down for over a year. They'll negotiate on things like price, pay for some of your closing costs, and even offer to buy down your mortgage interest rate, not only reducing the price of the home over time, but also reducing your monthly mortgage payment at the same time. Now, that's real negotiating power and leverage. So today we're going to cover 5 specific areas where buyers have a lot of that power right now. And we're going to start where the data is almost counterintuitive, South Tampa. So if I told you a year ago we'd be sitting here today talking about negotiating a room in Hyde Park or along Bayshore, you'd have told me I was making things up, trust me. Because the reality is South Tampa has been basically bulletproof for the better part of a decade when it comes to home prices. But here's what's changed. If we look at Hillsborough County as a whole, single family home prices are flat year over year, 0% like we talked about earlier. There's about 3.5 months of inventory available right now. What does that mean? If there was no other homes listed in the next 3.5 months, we'd finally sell through them all. But the reality is more homes are coming to the market, right? And that's pretty close to a balanced market. So the big picture says, yeah, the market is steady and sellers still have a slight edge. But when you zoom into South Tampa specifically, areas like Bayshore, Hyde Park, Palma Seca, the story starts to flip. Now, these are some of the most desirable areas in all of Tampa Bay, and the price reduction on existing listings are up 34% compared to last year. Homes are now selling for about 95% of the asking price, meaning that you as a home buyer are walking away with roughly 5% off the list price on average. And in some of those pockets, particularly anything over $2 million, homes are sitting on the market for over 100 days. And I don't know about you, but a lot of homeowners who have their home listed for almost 3 months start to get very anxious and want to start negotiating deals. So what has changed? Ultimately, what we're seeing is an aspirational pricing reset. Homeowners in South Tampa held the line through 24 and 25, thinking that that post-pandemic premium that we're receiving was going to be permanent, and it just wasn't. New buildings like Water Street and the Pendry Tower added more options to the very top of the market. Buyers get more choices, and for the first time in years, the homeowners who'd been holding firm had to actually come back to the table and negotiate what was going on with their home. So the question really becomes, what does that mean in real dollars? So let me give you an example. A home that was listed for $1.6 million right by Bayshore. What I'm seeing right now is buyers are able to negotiate 5%, 7% off the asking price. Plus, they're getting credits from inspection items, maybe even the homeowner is agreeing to buy down the mortgage interest rate for the first 2 years. They call that a 2-1 buy down. It's a negotiation strategy. I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but it can have a serious impact to your monthly number and of course the overall cost of ownership. And when you stack all three of those things together, that's over $100,000 in real savings on that exact same house that would have had 4 competing offers and 0 negotiation room just 18 months ago. Now that's leverage. And if you've been quietly assuming that South Tampa was off the tables, the numbers say that it isn't. You just need to know where the room is to negotiate. Now that's a surprise in our area, but let's go to where that data makes a lot more sense. We're gonna head over to Wesley Chapel. Now, if South Tampa was a surprise, Pasco County is where the proof shows up in black and white. Wesley Chapel and Pasco County overall is the only county in the Tampa Bay area where single-family home prices are actually down year over year. And not by a little, they're down 4.6%. The median home price there right now is around $375,000. There's a healthy amount of available inventory for sale. That's about 3.5 months. The average home is selling for about 96% of asking price, and they're going under contract in about 50 days roughly. And that's not an opinion, that comes directly from our multiple listing source, which is where all of the portal sites pull from. And what is a portal site? Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, those types of sites they get all their information from local real estate boards, including ours. Now, Wesley Chapel sits on top of one of the busiest builder corridors in the entire Southeast. Two Rivers, Epperson, Chapel Crossing, The Ridge. These are huge master plan communities where the national builders are competing for a smaller buyer pool than they planned on. Because the reality is migration to the area has slowed. Here in Florida, we're still above the pre-pandemic migration line, but not by much. And we're definitely not having that huge boom that we had in 21 and 22. So what does that competition actually look like right now? Well, David Weekley Homes, one of the major builders out there, is offering mortgage rates as low as 3.99%. Those are pandemic level interest rates. They're also offering things like $50,000 off the design center selection. So when you sit down and start choosing things like tile and backsplashes and cabinetry and flooring, this is where that money really gets applied. And then we're typically seeing another $20,000 to $30,000 to help you cover a closing cost on top of that. So just like we did the math before, let's do the math again so we can see what this actually looks like. On a $500,000 new construction home, a 3.99% interest rate compared to today's market rate, which is roughly around 6.5%, closer to 7%, is somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 off the life of that loan. If you add in the $50,000 in design center upgrades and let's just say another $25,000 in closing cost help, you're sitting at over $100,000 in real savings on a home where the price tag didn't even move. Now, if you guys are familiar with Stacy on our team, we call her the queen of new construction because she's built over 50 homes in the last 2 years with our clients. The thing she keeps reminding her clients is don't take the first offer that the builders put in front of you, because most builders will publish a number on their website, then they'll negotiate. The real package is usually 20 to 30% better than whatever is posted. Now, this doesn't apply to every community, but it applies to the communities that we're talking about specifically. Again, those pockets, you got to know where to look. So here's how to think about this. The headline tells us Tampa is overbuilt. That's exactly why builders are paying down your mortgage rate. The very thing that they're calling a problem is your opportunity. You're not fighting the market, you're using it to your advantage. Now, if you're a young family or planning your move, 3 to 5 years out and running the math carefully, Wesley Chapel is where the numbers work best for you right now. Now, the next one is going to feel similar, but with a twist. We're going to head out to Lakewood Ranch. So we're going to head out to Lakewood Ranch and Parrish. These have been two very desirable areas. They are different, but man, the growth out there has been unbelievable. So if we head out to Lakewood Ranch, sitting right on the Manatee-Sarasota County line, this is the most watched master plan community in the entire country. It's been the #1 selling master plan community in America for, I think, 5 or 6 years running. It's unbelievable how long their success has been going on. And here's why it's on the list. Manatee single-family homes are down 2.4% year over year. The median home price out there is right around $494,000, so this is below $500,000 in a very desirable area. And Manatee County has the highest amount of available inventory, almost 4.7 months of any county in the Tampa Bay area. And on average, buyers are negotiating about 6% off the asking price. And in condos in Manatee, that's down 11.3%. That's the biggest drop anywhere in our entire region. And that translates into real negotiation power that you can work with. Now, what's specifically happening in Lakewood Ranch and Parrish a little bit further to the north that the county data doesn't quite capture? The builder incentives in these areas just hit a 5-year high. There are literally 16 different builders running active deals at the same time in these areas right now. Neal Communities, one of the original builders in the area, they're offering up to $40,000 in upgrades on contracts written this spring. Mortgage rate buydowns into the 3% range, 7-year adjustable rate mortgages, which I don't necessarily encourage anyone to pursue, but there are situations where those things do make sense, which is well below the national average. So here's a concept worth remembering. It's called the wait and build trap. So I'm going to share a story of one of our clients. This winter, an empty nester couple retiring from Pennsylvania, planning their move 5 years from now, set on Lakewood Ranch. They asked me, should we wait? Prices are coming down. Won't they keep coming down? And here's what I walked them through. If they were to wait for the base price to drop another 2 to 3%, which is meaningful, but the builder pulls the interest rate offer and that $50,000 in upgrades, you actually end up paying more in real dollars for the exact same house. Why? Because builders front load these incentives on purpose. And the reason is because those incentives don't show up in the comparable sales, but a price reduction does. So what they're doing is they're protecting the pricing on paper, which makes sense because they just sold other people in that community who are going to be upset if those prices drop, and then they give up everything else like the incentives we're talking about. So in some situations, waiting is going to save you nothing. Now, again, these situations are going to be specific to your circumstances. So you have to think through this. You need as much information as possible to make a qualified decision. I'm not in here telling you should do anything that doesn't make sense for your family, but I've seen this happen over and over again. People will wait, an incentive gets pulled, and now all of a sudden they don't net the same opportunity on the back end. So acting now with someone on your side who actually knows how to write that offer and negotiate those deals, get you the upgrades, get you the lower interest rates, the closing cost help, then you can start building equity in a house that is the most bought master plan community in the country. And honestly, this is really Stacy's home court. So if Lakewood Ranch is anywhere on your list, she's the right person to walk you through which community is going to fit you best. And here's how to reframe what you're seeing. Lakewood Ranch isn't softening because something's wrong with Lakewood Ranch. It's softening because builders are competing harder than they've had to in the last 5 years for buyers that they assumed would always be there, just ready to walk through the door. So if you're that buyer, show up prepared, show up represented. And if you need help with that, that's what our team is here for. If you look down below, you'll see all of our contact information, and feel free to ask for Stacy directly. Again, new construction, she's your gal. Now this next one is different, and it comes with an honest conversation about risk. And I'm talking about Apollo Beach, and honestly, I'm gonna give you the disclaimer up front. Hillsborough County as a whole is flat in sales price, meaning that there's 0% change year over year. But Apollo Beach specifically, and Mirror Bay in particular, is down 8.3%. The median home price there is about $850,000, and homes are sitting for around 86 days before they go under contract. That is a long time. 3 months is a long time to wait, which is down from 122 days, and they were going 4 months a year ago, but it's still moving slow. And that last number, 122 days down from 86, is the one that matters most to me. It tells me that the homeowners are finally starting to accept reality. Now, I know what you're asking, why is Apollo Beach down so much? But the reality is you probably already know. 2 hurricane seasons back to back, insurance costs going up, and yes, some of these homes have flooded. So I can't sit here and tell you that buying a waterfront home in Apollo Beach is risk-free. It's not. No waterfront home in this country is. I mean, I'm someone who my home is at 43 feet above sea level and my home got wet during the storms. That's a whole nother conversation, but I've covered that in previous videos. So I know exactly what that looks like from the inside. But here's what I will tell you. The buyers winning in Apollo Beach right now are the ones who do their homework and don't get spooked by big picture fear. I'm not saying it's not real. I just know that there are going to be people who live there now. There are going to be people who live there in the future. That might be you. And what I see with smart home buyers is they are specifically targeting homes that are built after 2010. They're newer construction, probably elevated, they're code compliant. They're getting their insurance quotes before they write the offer, not after. They check the specific flood zone designations. They're checking the elevation certificates on a specific property and not just in the neighborhood. Do that work and you can actually buy a 2015 built home on a title canal for 8 to 12% less than it would have cost you 18 months ago. With a motivated homeowner, and up to 3 months of inventory, that gives you a lot to choose from instead of being forced into a 24-hour bidding war. And this is where Madison on my team really specializes in. She runs our South Hillsborough, our South Tampa, and Pinellas County beach corridor. This is her backyard. She's also the right person if you're a VA buyer or a military relocator looking in the same area. Because not only is she an Army vet, she's also someone who took the leap and relocated to the area 3 years ago, and she's just been a rock star helping people do it on our team. And if you think through this, the wide gloom and doom, Florida waterfront is in trouble narrative, it's actually doing the work of clearing out the room for buyers who understand the difference between a 1985 canal home and a 2018 Mirror Bay build. And if you're willing to look at it one level deeper than the headlines, the leverage here is actually enormous. Now we're going to get into the last area, which is hiding inside of the strongest part of the entire Tampa Bay area. Now in Pinellas County, where I live, this is the Clearwater-St. Pete area. It is the strongest single-family home market in the entire Tampa Bay area right now. The median home price is $456,000. That's up 4.8% from the same time last year. There's just under 4 months of inventory. Homes are selling for about 95% of the asking price, and the average home is going under contract in about 37 days. That's pretty quick. And as a matter of fact, it's the fastest in the whole region. By every big picture measure, Pinellas County is doing great. So why is Palm Harbor on this list? Because inside our strong county that is up almost 5%, Palm Harbor specifically is down 7% year over year. The median home price is sitting right around $408,000, and homes are sitting on the market for about 81 days. That's more than double the rest of the county. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, and I call this the big picture trap. This is where the county tells one story and the actual neighborhood tells the exact opposite. Homeowners in Palm Harbor have been chasing the market down for over a year. And trust me, they're not getting any news coverage that makes them feel great about holding on to their price. A lot of them are tired and ready to deal. Some of them don't have to, and that's the reality of it. So here's where this gets interesting. On a Palm Harbor or a Dunedin home, the right home buyer is now going to do 4 things at once. First things first, you're going to want to come in at a price that reflects where the market actually is year over year, not where the homeowner wishes it was back in 2022. 2, you can ask for credits from the inspection report if there are things that need to be addressed, because trust me, homeowners want to move their properties and they are negotiating. Number 3, ask the homeowner to buy down your mortgage interest rate for the first 2 years. That alone is worth $8,000 to $15,000 in your pocket over the first 2 years of owning that home. Not to mention how it dramatically lowers your monthly payment when you need it most. And number 4, in a lot of cases right now, you can also get help with your closing costs on top of everything else. And when you stack all 4 of those things together, you can buy a Palm Harbor home for a lot less out of pocket. That's real cost savings than the final price actually suggests. And that's in a county where the rest of the market is actually improving. In a quick note, Palm Harbor and Dunedin, if you've never been there, are perfect for buyers who want walkable lifestyle, a real downtown nearby, and a more established community feel. And if you're someone who's a beach baby, Madison would probably point you to different areas in Pinellas County like Seminole, Southwest Largo, Indian Rocks, Madeira Beach, a lot of other areas that might fit that type of lifestyle. But for this specific conversation about leverage, Palm Harbor is the cleanest play in the county right now. And a quick bonus before I wrap up, if you're a more experienced home buyer and you're willing to do real homework, there's even more leverage hiding in older condos in St. Pete. And in Pinellas County here, that inventory is sitting around 8 months, meaning that if they didn't put another home on the market, it would take 8 months to sell through that inventory. Sales are happening right at about 93% of the asking price on average. Now, if you're asking why wasn't that part of the main 5, because our condo market here honestly is an entirely different animal. We have videos on that topic specifically. I mean, right now, if you look at St. Pete's numbers, the median sales price on a St. Pete condo is $1.2 million. And that's because all of the luxury high rises are going up. But that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about condos that were built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that need a lot of work and that have to be brought up to today's standards, that have huge assessments attached to them. This is why there's a lot of homework in there, but there are real gems hiding in that inventory, but you got to be willing to do that work. And the real leverage there is knowing exactly which is which and how to look for them. So let me tie all this together. The headlines you've been reading aren't lying to you. They're just incomplete. Tampa Bay isn't crashing. Single family home prices are flat. Condos are actually up. The market is moving faster than it was last year, but every area is not the same, of course. So that leverage is real. And right now it's hiding in 5 very specific places. South Tampa luxury, where aspirational pricing looks like it's finally broke. Pasco County and Wesley Chapel, where builders are paying down your mortgage. Lakewood Ranch and Parrish, where master plan builders are competing harder than they've had to in the last 5 years. Apollo Beach, where post-storm pricing is clearing the room for buyers who do honest homework. And Palm Harbor and Dunedin, that are the hidden soft spot inside the strongest county in the entire Tampa Bay area. And if you're someone who's been sitting on the sidelines wanting to make this move a reality, but you've been listening to the channels that profit from fear, what I want you to take away from this video is that the numbers are on your side right now in a way they haven't been since before the pandemic. Not because something's wrong with Tampa. It's really because something has finally come back to balance. And if you want help figuring out which one of these 5 areas or which combination of these 5 actually fits your ideal lifestyle that you're trying to build down here, that's exactly what we do. All of our contact information is in the description down below. Heck, there's even a link to my calendar where you can schedule a Zoom call with me. We'll open up Google Maps, we'll walk you through the area. We can talk about incentives in new construction. We can talk about specific areas. Heck, we can even get into elevation certificates if that's what you need to feel comfortable to make qualified decisions. All of my contact information is listed down below. I'm going to put up 2 more videos here that I know will help you make this decision as well. And as always, until next time, go out and live that Tampa life.